What are you doing? Penny, it's okay. It's me. Do you remember?
You? I remember you. From the long, long ago.
Oh, well, yeah, about a week.
7 moons. 'Twas an age ago, but yes, I remember you now. I remember you now.
Is that Mr. Flappy? Have you eaten Mr. Flappy?
He was very tasty.
Oh, look, we've got a job to do. Do you remember we have a job to do because everyone's stuck at home? Do you remember what we've got to do?
Yes, I remember now. We were going to spin them a yarn, the likes of which they've never seen before.
No, because not everyone's in the north.
Oh yes, of course. We were going to weave them a tapestry, the likes of which they've never...
No, because not everyone's in the south.
Of course, I remember now. We were going to lead them on a merry dance, the likes of which they'd never seen before.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are going to lead you on a merry dance, the merriest dance you've had in your life. So buckle your shoes, get ready, and come along with us on the ride. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Okay, so now is the segment in the show where we show you a circus skill. It's something that we've been practicing. We might not necessarily be wonderful at it, but we're having a go at it, and we want to show you the skills that we've learned and maybe give you a little introduction in how to start doing those skills yourself. Isn't that right, Penny?
That is entirely correct.
Yes, and today we're going to show you, or rather I should say Penny is going to show you, the Diablo. This is something that I fundamentally cannot do. Penny has been doing it for a little while and has developed a couple of skills, and she's going to take you through those right now. Now, the Diablo is something that you can't really make yourself. It's a little bit difficult to make yourself. If you have a couple of coconut halves from a bird feeder, perhaps, you could pass a bolt through the middle, and so it makes this shape, and then 2 bits of dowel with some strong string in between, and that might make a rudimentary Diablo. So if you'd like to give making one a go, do please get in touch via our social media. That's at Strange-Twig on Instagram and Facebook. You can also find us on YouTube, and tell us how you got on with that. Now, Penny is going to give us a little bit of a demonstration with this wonderful thing and show us what you can do, and maybe give us a little talk through of what you're doing while you do it as well.
I can definitely do that. So, hello everyone, I am going to show you a little bit of Diablo work. Now this is the Diablo itself, sometimes called a butterfly Diablo because it's got this wonderful kind of hourglass butterfly shape. It's 2 kind of hemispheres stuck together with a little bit of metal in the middle, which is very important so it doesn't wear through in the middle. You balance this on a string that's strung between 2 sticks, and then you can do all kinds of tricks with it. If you were to look up some videos of, say, the international competitions that Diablo artists do, you will see them do some insane things with these, often with 3 or 4 Diablos at a time, which just blows my mind because I am still trying to get to grips with doing 1. So, the way we keep this balanced is with something called equilibristics. We keep this thing moving really, really fast so it doesn't want to tip off the string. It's quite nicely balanced already, so that if you just lay it on the string, it doesn't particularly want to go anywhere. But we're going to get it moving so we can use its momentum to do all kinds of tricks. Now, if you are making one yourself, you want to try and make sure that this string is the right length for you. I've wrapped mine round my dowel a little bit. This is one that I was bought as a present when I was a younger girl. And it was just a little bit too long for me, so I've wrapped it round the end of the string. And a good kind of idea of the length of the string that you want is that if you hold it in your hand with your fingers pressed to your palm, you can touch your shoulder with the sticks. So half of the string length will be 1 length of your arm, nearly. Now, if you want a bit more control, you can shorten the string, but that will mean that it's harder to make the Diablo go faster, if that makes sense. Okay, so now we have our stick with string and our Diablo. We're going to get it moving. Now, this uses quite a lot of space, so I'm not going to be able to do too many fantastic tricks in our little pop-up theatre setup here because the ceiling's quite low down. But I can at least show you how to get it going and how to do some little throwing and catching. Now you want to pop your Diablo on its end on the floor, like so. Make sure you've got your strings at a good distance. Hook it into the middle of the Diablo and then just use your foot to knock it forward. So it's lying with the string around the middle. Now we're going to operate the Diablo as if you're right-handed, which I am. So we're going to roll it over to your right, and as we roll it back to the left, we're going to lift it up and start moving your right hand with the stick in up and down. Now it might look like I'm kind of waving it around. I'm not, I'm just moving it up and down. It's because of the tension of the string and the Diablo that will make it look like it's wavering a little bit. And it'll make it look like I'm doing something with my left hand as well. But I'm not. That again is just the momentum of the string and the Diablo. All I'm doing with my right hand is moving it up and down. And that is what keeps the Diablo turning. So we're going to roll it off to the left, pick it up, and go with your right hand just up and down like this. And this keeps your Diablo spinning. Now, you always want your Diablo pointing in a line in front of you. If it starts to spin around, you want to move so you're directly behind it. It also might start to tip backwards or forwards. Now if it starts to tip backwards, move your right hand, the one that's doing all the moving, forward, and it'll just nudge the Diablo forward a little bit and back to level. And if it starts to lean forward too much, you want to just bring your hand to the back and it'll tip the Diablo back a little bit and back to level. And that, very simply, is how you start using your Diablo. And often, that can be quite a reward in and of itself, just having your Diablo go. It's quite a workout as well. You'll start to feel it in both arms eventually. And if you do this for long enough and you put it down, you'll really feel a good ache in both forearms. So, if we want to start doing tricks, we're going to have to get up some speed, because once we start moving the Diablo around and trying to do tricks with it, it's going to slow down. So we need to give it a lot of speed, and that way it'll keep moving and keep balanced. So the minute you stop using your arm to keep it going, it's going to slow down and it's going to want to lean backwards and forwards and potentially tangle up the string. There we go. Now just to get it going again, just pop it down on the floor, take it off to the right, and as you drag it back to the left, pick it up and go with your right hand. Now you might see a lot of Diablo artists doing what's called the whip to give it a little extra speed so they can do all of their incredible tricks. This is a very quick way to give it a lot of speed. It involves quite a violent motion, and you do need a little bit of space for this. Make sure nothing too breakable's around. So Rob's just stepped out of the way because he knows what's going to happen. You want to take your right hand, the one that's doing all the action, far out to the side, and then very quickly whip it underneath your left hand and back again and into that up and down motion. The trick with this is not getting the string tangled around the Diablo as you're doing it. And also not bringing your string too close to your body. You do want to keep them quite close together so the Diablo doesn't move too much. But we're going to take our right hand out to the side, move it incredibly quickly underneath our left hand, and then out again and back into that up and down motion. Okay? There we go. There we go. And that just gives it a really big boost of speed so that we can throw it around and do whatever we need to do. Let's do it again. There we go. The quicker you do that action, the quicker the Diablo will go. And snap. It's also quite fun to do. Okay. So now we've got quite a lot of speed. One of the first things you'll need to master before you do many of these tricks is a throw and a catch. Now, unlike the name suggests, it's not actually a throw. You don't and try and catch it again. You quite gently but firmly pull your sticks apart until the string goes tight. The Diablo will naturally just want to bounce off, and then you just catch it again as it comes down. Now, I'm going to make my strings quite short, so I don't have to open my arms out too wide. I'm going to give it a go. And this is where you don't really want anything too breakable around, because it might go spinning off, bouncing off. So we're just going to pull the sticks apart gently but firmly, and then try and catch it again. There we go. Just like that. Now you see, thank you. Now you see I didn't try and throw my arms into the air. I didn't try and throw the Diablo. I just pulled the sticks apart, and then as the Diablo came back down, allowed them to go back together again. Otherwise the Diablo would just bounce off again. There we go. There we go. Strings apart, strings together. And that, some very basic skills in Diablo.
Well, that was absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much, Penny.
Quite welcome.
Now, that's probably all we've got time for with our circus skills for today. So we're going to go back there and get ready for your story.
Yay!
Fantastic. Let's go. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Yes, it is that time again. It's story time. And today's story is a First Nation tale. It comes from the Great Plains of America. Today's tale is set in a time before time, as many stories are. The continents weren't as we know them today. They were strewn across the tabletop like a jigsaw, all jumbled up and waiting to be put in their places. But all the same, there were animals. Animals like today, but dissimilar in very fundamental ways. Our story today is about the rabbit. Back when the world was new, rabbits weren't as we know them today. Oh no, rabbits were very different. They would still hop through the forests, the beautiful forests, with their towering trees and their gorgeous green leaves. But instead of the tiny little bobtails that you might know they have today, they had great big brush tails like foxes, but grey, with a small flash of black at the very tip. Now, Rabbit was ever so proud of his tail. Ever so proud of his tail. And he would tell his grandma so every single day. Every day that they were together, because Rabbit did live with his grandma. Oh, Grandma, look at my beautiful, luxurious tail. Look how wonderful it is.
Why, yes, boy, indeed it is a luxurious tale. But remember, it does not do to dwell on pretty things.
Now Rabbit knew that, indeed, it may not do to dwell on pretty things. But his was the prettiest of all. He had the most luxurious tail of all the rabbits in the kingdom. Now Rabbit looked after his grandma. Every day he would go out hunting to fill the pot full of nice things, so that they could have a delicious stew that evening and fill their bellies. He would go through the woodland, secretly and quietly, hiding behind the hedges so that he could catch the most delicious items. And into the pot they would go. But every morning, when Rabbit awoke and went out into the world, as the sun rose behind him, there were great footsteps in front of him. Rabbit was proud of many things, not just his tail. He was also proud to be the best hunter in all the land. "Well, who's got up before me?" Rabbit would say. "Who could possibly be a greater hunter than I? Surely I am the only one who rises as early as this to fetch food for our pot. Nobody could be up earlier than I. They must all still be in bed." And so the next day, Rabbit resolved that he would rise even earlier so as to catch this other hunter in his tracks and prove that Rabbit himself was indeed the best hunter. That night Rabbit slumbered, and then in the morning he rose again. Why, there's tracks again. Great, great tracks before me as the sun rises behind me. How can this individual have got there before me? I don't understand. I know I am the best hunter in all of this land, and yet something has been here. And so the next night, when Rabbit slumbered, he woke before the clock struck midnight. When the moon was at its zenith, he rose, and into the dark, dark woodland he went. The night was spooky. There were unfamiliar sounds in the branches, and yet Rabbit was brave. Ever so brave. He took his bowstring and he set a snare on the floor. He retreated into the bushes so that when the hunter came as the sun rose, it would be trapped in that snare, and Rabbit would prove that he was the greatest hunter of all time. Well, the night continued, and Rabbit's eyes grew heavy. Heavier and heavier they grew, until finally Rabbit fell fast asleep. All of a sudden he started awake, but the woodland was still dark. He crept forward to see if he had caught anything in his snare, feeling with his hands. And there, as he parted the branches in front of him, was a blazing bright light. A Rabbit ran as fast as he could. He ran back to his grandma's house. He ran faster than his legs had carried him ever before in his life. And he retreated back to the place that he knew was safe. And he said, "Oh, Grandma, Grandma, I've done something terrible. I wanted to trap the hunter that came before me, that left the great footprints in the road ahead of me every morning as the sun rose behind me, and I think I've caught something else instead."
Now, my boy, you've caught the sun. Everyone knows that the sun rises before even the earliest of hunters. You have caught the sun in your trap. It is through your hubris that you have managed to do this, and now you must set it right. You must go back and release it, and take whatever punishment is due to you.
And so off Rabbit went, meekly and humbly. Back into the dark, dark forest he went. All the sounds and noises of the night time all around him, and his heart beating in his tiny little chest, 10 to the dozen or more. Faster and faster it would beat, faster and faster still, and then he reached the spot where he had laid the snare. He parted the branches in front of him, and there indeed was the sun in his trap in front of him. Cautiously Rabbit approached. The heat was burning his little paws, but he released the bowstring around the sun, and the sun shot into the sky. As it did, it grabbed hold of Rabbit's tail, his wonderful, prideful, luxurious tail, and scorched it down to the very nub. Rabbit roared in agony, "Oh no! Oh no!" And then the sun spoke.
How dare you trap me, young rabbit? After all I do for you, I rise every morning so you may hunt, and set every night so you may sleep. You need to learn humility. It will come in time now I have taken away your long brushed tail of which you were so proud. May this always be a lesson to you.
Rabbit ran as fast as he could, his tail aflame and agony burning through his very being. He ran and ran and ran through the now bright day back to his grandmother's house. And he said, "Oh, grandmother, grandmother, my beautiful tail is burnt down to the nub. The sun, it leapt into the sky and it grabbed hold as my punishment. Oh, grandmother, grandmother, what have I done?"
There, my boy. There.
And now remember this. If you see a rabbit hopping in the field, if that rabbit should look at you and run in the other direction, bolt for its burrow, maybe that rabbit is remembering the time it caught the sun in its trap. Maybe it's showing humility and humbleness. Maybe it doesn't want that last little bob that the sun left it with to be burnt down to nothingness. Oh, yeah. That was a really interesting dynamic to that one, wasn't there?
Oof, yeah.
I mean, what's the right word? You were
Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue.
You were really teaspooning about.
Brilliant word. I think that entirely pinpoints the essence of what was going on there.
I think so.
Yeah.
There was a lot of very alucricious teaspooning going on.
I think I'd agree 100%.
Yeah. And actually, I wasn't the only one that noticed. I've had a phone call.
Oh yeah.
In the interval, you know, the interval that we have.
Oh, all the time. Yeah.
I had a phone call from the Model Railway Appreciation Society.
Oh.
They wanted to give you an award.
Oh.
But you see, because of the self-isolation that we're all in right now,
of course.
They couldn't actually get the award to me. So instead, they've asked me to present to you this banana.
Oh.
So, from the Model Railway Appreciation Society, I award to you today for your alucricious teaspooning this banana.
Oh, I don't know what to say. This is such...
Round of applause. Round of applause.
Thank you. Oh, all my thanks to the Model Railway Appreciation Society, of course. This is such a touching award. Thank you so much. I really want to pass on my thanks to all the little people, because of course model railways, so they're small, so the people who ride them are small. So this banana is actually massive to them in proportion when you think about it. So this is actually a really massive gift and not just a tiny banana. So this represents a lot more than what it looks like. This is more than just a banana. This is the hopes and dreams of an entire small community and their infrastructure and all the hard work and thoughts and invention and imagination that's gone into it. This is more than just a banana that's actually a little bit bruised at one end and probably isn't going to be much good for eating for much longer and is probably going to end up in some kind of banana bread or cake product in the end. This is so much more than just what it appears. My eternal thanks to the entire community.
Okay, come on, move along now. We'll have a fruit salad later. It's okay. Come on, off you go. It's good banana.
Just what I need.
Oh, didn't see you there. We've had good fun today, haven't we, Penny?
Yes, lots of fun.
Lots of fun. We hope you have as well. Huh? It's a really good banana. we can't do this without the help of your donations. Currently, because we're all stuck at home, we're not earning. All of this comes out of our pockets. So please do go to www.paypal.me/Strange-Twig and donate. All donations are secure and you pay what you feel. And we feel that we're putting in quite a lot of effort. So if you guys wouldn't mind, just do us a solid. Good banana.
Good banana.
Good banana.
Top banana.